struggling with English language from reading very well, a reading he has not prepared. Not only that, he even sang the Psalms, the verses of the Psalms. So I really want to thank you for your courage. Some people would have been totally disorganized just by the fact that they have not, doing a reading they have not practiced with. This is, perhaps there is a lesson in it for all of us, to be prepared for unexpected things. And let me also use this opportunity to tell you one of the liturgical rules. Every feast or solemnity has proper readings. So anytime you look at the order and it's a feast, know that it has its own proper readings for next time, and for all those who prepare for the liturgy. Today, we are celebrating the feast of St. Bartholomew. And the gospel we listen to call him Nathaniel. In the synoptic gospels, that is Matthew, Mark, and Luke, it's called Bartholomew. But in John's gospel, it's called Nathaniel. And the gospel reading we listen to is actually the story of his call, his vocation. See, in John's gospel, the first disciples to be called were Andrew and John. Then, after they had spent some time with Jesus, they went out, and Andrew told his friend Philip, and Philip became a disciple as well. Then Philip found his friend Nathaniel and told him, called him. And we see his hesitation, his skepticism. He didn't immediately believe what he was told. But then, Philip did not argue with him. He just gave him an invitation. Come and see. And he came and saw and was taken in as well. He made a profound profession of faith in Christ, the very first one. He said, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. In other words, he has recognized him as the long-expected Messiah. And Jesus paid him a compliment. Jesus paid him a compliment. He said, declared that he's a true child of Israel, and there is no duplicity. There is no duplicity in him. In other words, he's first of all a man of integrity. He's honest. He's sincere. And these are qualities that anybody that Christ has called or is calling, these are qualities that are very important for those who answer that call. Sincerity, honesty, truthfulness, integrity. And so, these are the things we ought to think about today. Where are these things found in our own lives? It's also an opportunity for us to think about our own call, our own invitation. You know, as I was reading this passage, I started thinking about my own call, how it came. I was too young at the time to know, I didn't know anybody who was a priest. I have seen priests at the altar, that's all. In fact, I don't think that even anybody in my family knew any priest. And the way it came about, we were at Mass on a Sunday. The whole family went to Mass. And as I haven't started school, I didn't start school until I was 7 years old. And so this happened between 5 and 7. You know, that time everything was in Latin, the Latin Mass. And you have the High Mass and the Low Mass. The High Mass is sung, the Low Mass is read. That Sunday, the Mass my family attended was a High Mass. And I heard the priest singing what I now know to be the preface of the Mass. And it was so delicious in my ears that on the spot I decided that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this thing he was doing. I had absolutely no idea what he was doing, but I just said that this is what I'm going to do. But you know, sometimes God plays a joke on people. He used music to call me. And I grew up and saw that I don't have a singing voice. When I sing, it's just like a frog croaking. But that was what he used to call me. In other words, it doesn't matter what, God can use anything to call anybody. So what did God use to call you? You have to think about it. So what he used to call you is not as important as you're answering the call. And it's not as important as why you stayed. You heard, come and see, and you came and saw. What keeps you? Why did you stay? Why are you staying? If, for instance, I had stayed because of music and found that I have no talent for music, I could have left. But he used it and took music away from me because that wasn't where he was calling me. He was calling me for a totally different reason. We ought always to be grateful to God for our vocation. Because the vocation to the priesthood, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest of all vocations. It's the greatest of all vocations. There is nothing in life that you could ever do. You know, when God allows you to handle him, to call him down, and he will come down, what else can you do that will beat that? So hold your vocation very seriously. Become like Philip. Become like Bartholomew, a man who has no duplicity in him. Honest, sincere, truthful. a man of integrity.